Good evening. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. My name's John Gilkison, and I'm the site moderator for the Facebook page Electric Vehicle Organization, Southern New Mexico. And I've done this before on plug-in hybrid electrics on the calculating of the fuel and the energy flows. But however, I was doing it on a computer, or I was showing a piece of paper, and I finally found my whiteboard, so I wanted to try to do it right now and show it to you on a whiteboard. Plug-in hybrid electrics are pretty complex, and it's easy to figure out the miles per gallon on a gas car or the energy flows on just a pure electric car, because the two aren't mixed together, but in a plug-in hybrid electric they are. So you have to go through some permutations to figure it all out. So here we are. We gassed up today, and this is up here in the upper left-hand corner is my trip miles. And it's 252.1 miles, and I went 456.6 EV miles. And the guessometer just said I did 89 miles per gallon. And the trip meter is also reporting I used 122 kilowatt hours. So that's the basis of the information that I'm trying to report here. And that's all the data I really have, other than the ticket from filling up. And in that case, it's let's see if I have it here. Yeah, I do. So we just topped off the tank, and it was 8.465 gallons. Cost me $19.97, and it was $2.35.9 a gallon. Hello. Wish there was a way to lock down the focus on this stupid camera. Anyway, so that's my pump gas. And so right over here I have the calculations for the cost. And over here I broke it out. I've subtracted I divided the miles out, and it turned out that I went 60.7% EV miles, 39.3% IC miles, and that's 100% combined. So over here I subtracted the EV miles from the total miles, and I come up with my IC miles, which is 295.5 internal combustion engine miles. So you need to know all this data, so you have to do this math. So in the middle here, we have 122 kilowatt hours, and the problem with that is the charging inefficiencies or the charging efficiency, pardon me, on the onboard charger in the car is probably about 82% efficient. So it really took me 148 kilowatt hours right here to charge the car up to get that 122 kilowatt hours, and that's at 8 cents a kilowatt hour, and that's $11.90. So you have to add up all your cost. So $11.90 EV, $19.97 for IC, and so my total cost was $31.87 to do this 752.1 miles. So, and way over here in this corner here, in the left-hand corner, is total fuel. And so I just add the gallons and the gallons equivalent out. Now how you get 4.515 gallons equivalent is you take the total here, and I didn't do it on this board, but you take 148 kilowatt hours and you divide it by 32.777, which is how many kilowatt hours there are in a gallon of gasoline. And that gave me the 4.515 gallons equivalent. And so my total gallons equivalent was 12.97 gallons to do this 752 37.1 miles. So now I have all the data I need. So I can break it all out. So IC miles, 295.5, 8.465 gallons, 39.3% of my driving, and it's 34.9 miles per gallon, and that's the 295.5 divided by the 8.465, which is my pump gas. 34.9 miles per gallon, $19.97, and $2.35.9 a gallon. Now the EV here, it's 456.6 miles total. It's 148 kilowatt hours. Here I did show it. 32.77 equals 4.515 gallons E. That works out to be 101.13 miles per gallon E for $11.90, an equivalent of $2.63 per gallon. So there you have it. Now these two figures here are not accurate, and the reason for that is a plug-in like I have is also a hybrid drive. So you have an electric car, you have a car that runs on internal combustion, and it also runs in hybrid mode, where some of the times the battery pack is harvesting some of the forward motion and converting it to electricity from regenerative braking or whatever you're doing, and it's using some of those miles. A portion of the battery set aside, 1 kilowatt hour set aside for hybrid driving. So even when you don't have it switched over to electric mode purely, or you run out of electricity for electric drive only, you still can be driving an electric drive, but it's parasitic on the internal combustion engine. And so this number here, 34.9 miles per gallon, probably ought to be somewhere around 38 miles per gallon. And this number here, 101.13 miles per gallon, should be running somewhere between 85 and 95 miles per gallon. But you just don't get it the way they've set up the trip meters. You don't get the data. So I can't do anything about it. I can only do the math as I have it and tell you what I'm telling you. So the combined is 752.1 miles. And the total, including the electrical consumption, is 12.98 gallons. Okay? Equivalent. And it works out to 57.94 miles per gallon. Total cost was $31.87. And it amortized out to $2.455 per gallon. Averaged. So you can see here, this number here, 57.94, is quite different than the guessometer projected up here as 89 miles per gallon. Because what the guessometer is doing is dividing these total gallons into this figure here. And when you do that, you do get 89 miles per gallon. But it's simply not correct. It's kind of a public relations move on the part of Ford, in this instance, to lull a driver into believing they're getting 89 miles per gallon because they're not calculating in the electrical energy that it takes to do those total miles. And that's disingenuous, to say the least. So there you have it. I hope this being on a larger board helped. It looks really complex to figure out just one fuel run on a car, but I've been doing it for the past year. I didn't do it initially, but I did keep all the data. But I didn't break it out into 3 categories. So anyway, I keep my fuel logs at a place called ecomotter.com, and They have a garage there where members can go in and use a fuel calculator, and they're not set up to do electrical at all, so I have to do all the conversions and then put it in for EV drive. So if you ever get a chance, go to ecomodder.com and check out the site. It's kind of a different place for car people who want to put aerodynamic appliances on their cars, what it's all about. And so I'll leave it there. I think it shows you that this is one of the reasons the general public doesn't understand plug-in hybrid electric vehicles at all. Because to understand plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, you have to understand all this. And even though I understand it, I can't get accurate computations because the data is not presented to me. So, but it's a great vehicle, and if you lived in the city, you could probably do about 90% of your driving in EV mode only. And because I have 20 miles of range, and we're wanting to pass on our vehicle, when we buy a pure electric vehicle, we're wanting to pass on our vehicle to our daughter. She does live in town, and she works in the city, so she could probably do the majority of her driving electric mode only. And she would get more benefit out of the vehicle than we're getting. And we're still having to buy gasoline, as you can see. But still, that's not bad. I only had 3/8 of a tank here when we fueled up today. So I'd went 752.4 miles on less than 8.5 gallons of gasoline. So it's, and I can easily go a whole month. I could have went a whole month. And I've done it before. I've went over 1,000 miles between refuelings. So it's definitely a fuel-saving vehicle. And if you lived in a mode where most of your driving was 20 miles or less at one time, you could practically drive the vehicle, like I say, 90% of the time in electric mode. And your cost would really go way down. As you can see here, I did 456 miles on $11.90. So that's a lot cheaper than the $19.97 to go 295 miles. So there you have it. We'll be seeing you down the road. Bye-bye, everybody.